Hey everyone, Django Fett here, Honey Down Games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more. And this is a review for Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So, I actually never did a review for this prequel movie. I did Episode 1 and 2 back in the day, years ago. I never did Star Wars Episode 3, and that was a perfect time considering I actually saw this in theaters a few days ago and had a great time with this. After 20 years, this movie re-releases in theaters. Can't believe it came out back in May 19th, 2005. And it is such a gem, man. This is such a great movie. And I actually remember back in the day, I actually didn't like this movie very much. I actually did think it was mixed for me. I actually didn't love it as much as episodes 1 and 2, but I liked it. And years later, after, I do see the appreciation of it now, and I think it's easily the best prequel movie of the bunch. And I think most people who even criticize the prequels will even say that. Chris Stuckman did a review not too long ago, and he really praised Episode 3 quite a bit. So I do have to give credit to some of the prequel haters originally back in the day, and coming back to this movie and the prequels too, and really getting appreciation for it. I've always loved the prequels. I just didn't love Episode 3 as much as everybody else did. But now, for me, it's easily my favorite of the bunch, or, easily the best of the bunch, I should say. Episode 2 still has a special place in my heart, same with Episode 1. But Episode 3, I respect even more now. I love that movie now. There's a lot to talk about with this movie. We'll go into detail with this movie. But we'll gush over the experience. I think a lot of people actually saw this in theaters, 20th year anniversary, considering that. And having Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, Natalie Portman as Padme, and Christopher Lee, rest in peace, Christopher Lee as Count Dooku. He had a very small appearance, but just a great cast right then and there. And so let's just get right into this, man. Let's get into the actual movie itself and give some appreciation for this. So this might be a little bit longer than you may be accustomed to, but I want to just gush over this movie, considering the bad things that happened with Havoc. So let's get right into it. So we'll go into spoilers. So if you haven't seen Episode 3, it's a 20-year-old movie. If you haven't seen that, that's on you. But we're going to get right into spoilers. So this is set 3 years after the events of Episode 2 and the Clone Wars. This is 3 years after. You see an experienced Anakin and Ewan McGregor, with the chaos that is the Clone Wars. If you've never seen the Clone Wars, you can see the TV series. You can see there's like 2 TV series, and there's also the comics. You see the brutality of the Clone Wars. So if you've never experienced it, you want to see that in between line, you'll see it here in those series. And the animated series, my favorite is the Gennady Tartakovsky series. You see the setup to Volume 2, especially the setup for Episode 3. So if you're wondering about certain things that happen, know that you have to watch that to understand it, because there is one moment or one character in particular, General Grievous, who's constantly coughing, and you're constantly wondering, like, what the heck? Or people who have watched it probably wondering what the heck it is. Well, it's related to the Clone Wars TV series, because Mace Windu did a special move and actually did a major, almost death blow to General Grievous. But I will say in the movie, you didn't see that, you see him coughing quite a bit, but you didn't see the impact on his chest and stuff, so I'm kind of wondering why that was the case and why that wasn't a big impact. He was just coughing. So it's just wondering, after seeing it again, I was just wondering, whoa, well, okay, I noticed that wrong thing right there. Also, I do want to point out too is that the budget was $113 million, which is amazing to me, because in this day and age, that movie would probably be $500 million, because the amount of CGI and special effects that went on with it is fucking amazing. I can't believe they even spent that much money on that. But it was a different time, 20 years ago. And now Star Wars movies, you look at Rise of Skywalker, the latest one, that budget was $416 million for that POS, if I have to be honest. But complete opposite in every way. And it made a lot of money, as it deservedly almost made $900 million deservedly. If only it made $1 billion. So we have the beginning being this action-packed moment. I think the first half an hour is dedicated to Obi-Wan and Anakin rescuing Palpatine from General Grievous's flagship. A lot of action, just a lot of great things to see from there. And the space battle, the actual lightsaber combat, and you see more lightsaber combat in here throughout, is amazing to behold. And I think it's probably better than in Episode 1, because Episode 1, it just had, I think, 1 or 2 moments you see the lightsaber combat. Episode 3, there is quite a bit, and it's just amazing to see. Only down part is like seeing Count Dooku is just like that fight was pretty short. Other than that, I thought it was still great to see that whole moment in here, with Anakin and Obi-Wan facing off against Dooku, and Anakin doing the death blow to Dooku, and realizing all of the moments that the pain that he caused, not only through Episode 2, but throughout the Clone Wars, and how much damage he did. He just cut his head off right then and there. And motivated by Palpatine too, also. He just kind of says, do it. So there's also a lot of dialogue that is very corny at times. And you see that some of the comedic elements too. But this is by far the most serious and emotionally more depth in the emotion with this movie than in the previous prequel movies, I have to say. There's a lot of ups, and there's some comedic moments with R2 and some droids, him fighting off against these droids too. So you did have some fun in the beginning before it sets up for, the unfortunately stuff. Let's just say the sad stuff in the later part of the movie. So we have that happening where Anakin and Obi-Wan, they free Palpatine, Grievous gets away, and they rescue him. And then they set off on a mission to... There's several things that happen where the Council just doesn't accept Anakin because he's too close with Palpatine, who has been doing some shady stuff and kind of openly just being brash and being against the democracy. So the Jedi don't like that, and they're also falling into that trap with not understanding Palpatine and not even seeing at all a hint of the dark side within him. So Palpatine does it masterfully, how he hides himself. Eventually you find out that Palpatine tempts Anakin with the dark side of the Force and promises to save Padme. And then Anakin deduces that Palpatine is the Sith Lord behind the Clone Wars and reports to Mace Windu this happened. And then you have Mace Windu and 3 other Jedi Masters face off against him, and they easily get cut down except for Mace Windu, who's easily a match. I would say if Mace Windu and Yoda were against Palpatine, I think it would be... I don't think Palpatine would win in that match. I think he would have a run for his money. And that would not be an easy fight for him. Anakin comes in at the wrong moment, prevents Windu from killing Palpatine, and Palpatine kills Windu. And then they issue Order 66. There's also a couple of other moments where, Obi-Wan is sent to Utapau, and eventually Anakin will have to be sent to Mustafar after Order 66. But this is where things get extremely sad, where his fall to the dark side comes into play. And it's truly a tragedy how he falls, because you do see the good in him, and you will see the good in him eventually in the original trilogy as well. That spark of good within him, despite all the evil that he will do later on, and with the fear that will lead him down to the dark side. Anakin goes down this horrific path of the dark side by first getting rid of Mace Windu, slicing his hand, betraying them, devotes himself to be a Sith member, and then does Order 66 and goes to the Jedi Temple and kills the Jedi members there, including younglings. And when I saw that moment, I was just, it hurt me. I wanted to fucking cry, man. That was how emotionally the amount of emotional impact that moment had. There is a lot of emotion in here. There's this is where it goes down. And for me, yeah, just seeing the Jedi being cut down in that moment, it really just like, I wanted to cry. That it was really sad, man, to see that. So Vader is then sent to Mustafar to kill off the rest of the Separatist leaders, and Emperor proclaims, after the attack, that the Jedi attacked him, and then we needed to fight back, and then transforms the Republic into the Galactic Empire. And then you see, after that speech happens, you have Padme with the famous line. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but this is how democracy dies with applause. I think that's the line, but I'll put that line right over here. So Obi-Wan and Yoda then survive Order 66 and learn that Anakin has turned the dark side. Obi-Wan is very just against that, but eventually he sees the footage and he's just so distraught over this whole thing, and he was killing younglings. And he tells Padme, and then eventually Padme goes to Mustafar, and you see like an Anakin like no other before, where he just at least like before this moment you see him do bad things, but to this extent where he actually betrays Padme, force chokes her. He thinks he betrayed her, and he fully lets his anger come out in that moment, and thinks that Obi-Wan is behind that. And Obi-Wan reveals himself, and they have this epic duel between one another. It's an incredible duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin. I'm glad they really focused on that. The lightsaber combat was absolutely incredible. Easily, probably, man, I don't know if it beats Episode 1, Duel of Fates, man. That was so fucking good. But you guys let me know in the comment section what you liked more, Episode 3 or Episode 1. I think Episode 3 had more of an impact because you wouldn't expect them both to fight in like that, but they're forced to, and then they fight, and it's just so brutal to see that, and it just makes you just sad over the whole event. But eventually Obi-Wan wins, and Vader is broken down, and has to be going into the suit, and Padme dies giving birth, and the explanation they give, the droid they gave, the explanation for why she's dying, she just lost the will to fight, to live. I thought it was pretty stupid. There are some dumb things in here. It's not a perfect film. Some of the dialogue is just, so corny, and you expect that from the prequels, but here you don't see that much, but you do see some of the moments, and especially with Palpatine too, how corny he is too. But I liked it. It's not too much, and it's great. I still love all the moments here, and it's really a powerful film. And then you see like the ending, and it's, oh my god, it sets up perfectly for the original trilogy. And man, this is just like a really sad tragedy of not only the of Anakin especially, but also the Jedi, and seeing them fall like in this manner. But Palpatine does this perfectly, where he just takes down the Jedi and rules the galaxy. Revenge of the Sith, aptly named. And seeing all the battles and the lightsaber combat and the really emotionally impactful moments in here made this movie very special for me. And it's really important nowadays to watch this film. In this day and age, to watch this, especially what's happening in the US. I think it's really important for everyone to see this. And it couldn't come at a better time to remind us of all the important things that we could lose. So I really thought I would give this movie probably the same rating I gave Episode 2, but honestly, looking back at this, I have to give Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, a... But I love this. This is absolutely incredible to see in theaters. And if you haven't seen it already, I mean, just like watch it if you can in theaters. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So it's my second time ever seeing it in theaters. I saw it 20 years ago in theaters, and now seeing it 20 years again, absolutely incredible. So let me know what you think of Star Wars Episode 3 in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, if you haven't already, and I'll see you, my fellow Mandalorian, my brothers and sisters, next time. Oh, yeah.